Looks like we're there. Welcome, everyone. This is Leupold Live. My name is Nick from the marketing department. We got Dane over here from technical services. And we're going to be talking today about mounts. Now, don't click off. No, I know you guys want to, talk about and see some of the cooler stuff like the Mark V HD, the VX6 HD, all that cool stuff. But we're going to start at the basics, right? The building blocks, which is the mounts. Yep. And if you don't have your mounts right, well, that scope and that rifle aren't going to work together right? And Dane, I know you build a lot of custom rifles, right. A lot of stuff. We think about barrels, we think about triggers, what stock am I going to get? And sometimes the mounts are just kind of an afterthought.
Yeah, a lot of people, forget to, buy quality mounts, which, you can spend money everywhere else, but, if you got good scope, good barrel, good receiver, and not good mounts, it's not going to add up.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to get frustrated, right? And I know mounts sometimes it's the last thing, so maybe the money's drained a little bit, in the build, but it's going to be worth it to buy a quality mount and get it mounted correctly, right? And we're going to touch on that. We're going to go through some of the new products we got coming out. We're going to touch on some mounting techniques, right? Some common issues that guys get, when they're mounting up scopes. And we're also going to be giving away some swag here. So we got a hat, shirt, and whoever has the best question that comes in, we're going to give away some stuff. So it's going to be awesome. So we'll get right into it. The new stuff for 2018 is really cool. I mean, we launched a ton of mounts this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of them haven't hit the channel yet. Some are coming out in Q2 here, quarter two. But we're really excited about what's going on. I think the first one I want to touch on are these backcountry mounts.
Yeah, the backcountries are awesome. They're aluminum. Yeah. They're made out of aluminum. We've got the mounts, which is a one piece with the ring incorporated. If you want to zoom in on this, Scott. So you've got basically the ring is just one piece built into the base.
I think that's big because that takes a lot of mystery out of like the mounting process.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Because guys are always like, well, what base do I need to go with the rings and make sure like a dual dovetail. Most of you guys are probably familiar with dual dovetail, right? Having to torque that ring in and get it centered perfectly. This is all one piece. Yeah. So that's awesome. You just stick it right down on the receiver, bolt it down, and everything's lined up.
Exactly.
Super great option. Super excited about those. With the one piece, we also have another country mount, the cross-slot version, right?
Yep. So this is going to be a base, cross-slot, traditional cross-slot style. And then with this, we also have cross-slot backcountry rings. So if you don't want to do the one-piece design, you can go with the more traditional base and separate ring.
Yeah, that's great. Here we have a rifle back here, a little prop, right? So we got the backcountry system on this, and you can tell that that's just a good-looking system. It's super low profile. It's not really, not super big and robust. Just enough ring there. And I really like the look of it.
Yeah, it looks clean.
Right, super easy off and on. You got your nuts on the side there. Take it off and on. Super good system. So excited about those. The bases, I think, right. There's a 20 MOA version, right?
Correct.
On the backcountry, yep. on the rail for guys wanting to get out, shoot longer range. That helps you with your adjustment range in the scope. Having that 20 MOA in the base.
Correct.
Yeah. Moving on, let's see. We'll just go down here. So IMS mounts, we've had those for a couple of years, but now we have some 35 millimeter versions, which is super important. We'll talk about that too. So 35 millimeter, our Mark V HD is a 35 millimeter main tube, and there's not a ton of those rings on the market. So we've introduced a lot of 35 millimeter options within different lines. The QRW, PRW, there's a 35 backcountry mount, and then 35 millimeter IMS mount. Now, IMS stands for
Integrated Mounting System.
And he knows this stuff. He's in tech service all day long. So again, it just goes right on the base. The rings are connected to the connecting piece that goes on the rail. Super slick. This one's a cantilever style. So what rifle would you put that one on?
Cantilever style would go on an AR platform.
Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be the right height to get on an AR.
Yep,
so
it's going to bring that eye box to the right height.
Nice.
Then the 35 millimeter for the Mark V, it does have 20 minutes built in. So if you're putting it on an AR-10 or any AR platform and you're trying to shoot long range, it's going to be great for you.
Awesome. Yeah, we do have bolt versions too for bolt guns that are a little lower. They're not cantilever. They come back. And it's going to get you the right height, right, for your standard bolt gun.
Right.
So that was cool. One, we were talking about this before we went live here. One really cool thing is the logos, right? So this year we've gone with all blacked out stealth logo, which I really like the look of.
Yeah, it looks a lot cleaner.
You don't have to take a Sharpie to your mount anymore and black out the logos. So it's a super clean look, which I'm always looking for clean looks on my rifles when I'm building, right? Another one kind of in the integrated mount system realm here, I want to touch on. Actually, I should have took it out of the packaging here. Not necessarily brand new, but I don't think a lot of people know about it, and that's the D-Lock mount for the DP Pro. DP Pros are arguably one of the most versatile sights that we make, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
You can put it on just about anything.
You can put it on anything, yeah.
Right? I've seen guys put it on lever actions, ARs,
shotguns, handguns,
pistols.
you name it.
I mean, if it shoots, you probably stick a DP Pro on it.
Yeah.
The great thing about this is it can go on an AR, and it's going to bring that DP Pro to the right height.
Yep.
So your cheek weld, so you're not down super low, and it's got this push button system. Actually, I gotta undo it here. And you push, and now that moves. And so it's easy off and on the rail.
Right, without tools.
Without tools, which is great.
And so you can finger tighten it back down, take it off, put it on something else, but then just finger tighten this back down, you're good to go.
Yeah, I got one just to show you guys. I'm not gonna flag you here. So got one on an AR there. It brings it to the right height. It adds literally like no weight to the gun. You can't feel an optic up there. And with the DP Pro, I know we're talking about mounts. I'm gonna tangent on the DP Pro for a sec. It's like the housing just disappears. The field of view is so big in it. You just got a floating red dot, and it is incredibly fast to shoot. Being a scope company, I always had scopes on my AR, and I did this, and I went out and shot it. I was like, oh my gosh,
fell in love with it.
So much, it's so fast,
very quick.
Yeah, so that's awesome mount. Grab one of those if you have a chance. What else we got here?
We got the new PRW2s.
Nice.
So what we did here is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the original PRWs. The top half of the ring you essentially had to snap down over the scope. We basically changed the angle on it so you no longer have to snap that down. It's more of a traditional 50-50 split ring now.
Yeah.
So it goes on much easier without the potential risk of damage.
Yeah, I know guys always had an issue with that there because you don't want to. You just bought a new scope and you don't want to scratch the finish, and you're trying to get that ring top on, and like Dane said, now just boom, fits on there real smooth. And we also redid some of the bottom section of it too. New keeper design, stronger, improved keeper design, which is awesome. And the contact points on the bottom of the ring is a different shape, and it actually has more contact with the rail now, so you have more bite in there. So a couple improvements there. I like these rings a lot too. Nice low profile, great hunting style. The QRW ones have the lever on the side.
Quick detach.
Quick detach lever. That's another great feature. So yeah. And you grabbed those last minute. What are those?
These are the LRWs. So this is essentially a different version of a cross-slot style ring. This one has, instead of a removable keeper or keeper that could potentially accidentally be removed, the keeper is fixed to the bottom of the ring. You would essentially slide this over the front of a rail and get it into position. And these are steel as well.
You had talked about, we got a question, actually, I know we're going to do some Q&A afterwards, but I was just rolling through the questions here. And from Lucas on Facebook, how much weight do I save by going to the backcountry mounts?
So the backcountry, they are aluminum. comparatively speaking, I was comparing the like 35 millimeter backcountry rings compared to the aluminum Mark IV rings. They're about half the weight. So on average, you're looking at 4 ounces for the rings. The backcountry mounts, the one piece, they're going to be a little bit more. You're looking at probably closer to about 5 or 6 ounces. Which literally a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's a savings there, and every ounce adds up when you're putting your gear together, and if you're going to have to hike it in the backcountry, right? The cool thing too, I know little guys sometimes, the old school guys are a little reluctant to go to an aluminum mount instead of a steel mount. But the cool thing here at Leupold is we do test everything to the same standards. So we're not testing something different for aluminum rather than steel. They all got to pass that same impact test. Punisher tested and verified. So, cool. Great question, by the way. That's definitely one of the selling features on the backcountry setup there. I glossed over this part. We were talking about the DP Pro. You mentioned it goes on a shotgun, right? Turkey season's coming up too. This is a new mount, literally. This one just got set on my desk the other day. So this is a mount for the, what was it?
Marlin 336.
Yeah, Marlin 336. So it goes right on top, nice low cheek weld to that. And I know for your turkey hunting guys coming up, that might be an option if you're running a Marlin there. Other than that, we do, for the DP Pro 2, if you don't need that high riser that the D-Lock has. We have a cross slot mount also. It'll bring it down onto a rail. That's good for a shotgun.
Yep,
too.
Absolutely. Doesn't get it too high on a shotgun.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, that kind of encompasses our new products that we have for this year. So let's roll into some common mounting mistakes. I think we've all made them. You think us, we work at a scope factory, you think that, there are times when I get super frustrated and something hasn't gone wrong and I'm just not paying attention. I make a mistake, right?
Absolutely.
So, and you help guys out all day long on the phones. What are some of the common ones that you run into?
A big one is either over torquing or under torquing. We have torque specs for a reason. Every manufacturer has different ones. If you over torque something, tighten it farmer tight, you're going to weaken stuff. If you under torque it and something comes loose, you're going to have point of impact issues. So that's probably one of the big ones. In addition to that, setting up a scope on a firearm, a lot of guys are bore sighting too close. So once you've got that mounted, they end up bore sighting too close, which causes issues as well, running out of adjustment, etc.
So are they bore sighting at like 20 yards or 25 yards or something like that?
Yeah, 25 yards. I've seen 5 feet. I've seen 10 feet.
Yeah. That would cause an issue because you got to think of angles, right? So now you're making that scope and barrel meet at a very sharp angle.
Right.
So I do everything at 100 yards. Is that what you kind of said?
Yeah, and if guys are having trouble at 100 yards, 50 yards minimum.
Okay.
But most firearms can be bore sighted at 100 and then get some rounds downrange. And
I think you touched on it. The torque values are super important. A lot of guys think that you need a lot of torque downwards to make sure that scope's not moving.
Right.
When recoil is actually back and forth, right? It's this way. And you'll look in a lot of scopes and they have little grooves, so anti-friction grooves. So they're designed to clamp onto the scope and not let it go. What is it, 26 inch-pounds, right? Or 25?
Going into the receiver on most is 22.
22, okay, yeah. And then for the ring tops, I think, what is 25?
Yeah, our torque spec is 28. If you get anywhere from 25 to 28, you're going to be good to go.
Yeah, so it's actually not a lot of torque on the top. Right?
Not nearly as much as you think. And when you're doing it by hand, without a torque wrench, 25 inch-pounds comes real quick.
Great segue. So we do have a torque wrench sitting here. So this is, to me, you need it to mount something.
Yep.
I see guys mount stuff all the time without it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is an investment worth making. This one specifically is the Wheeler fat wrench kit.
Yep.
I think you find these pretty much anywhere, right? So it's going to come with the torque wrench, goes all the way up to 60 inch-pounds, and then you got your leveling system too. So leveling, super important also, I think.
Yeah, and this brings up, gentleman had a question about how every time he mounts a scope, the crosshairs are always crooked.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to point out, Scott, I don't know if you can zoom in on these levels. Maybe.
Cool, he's got it.
You got it. So, and I found this out the hard way. It's important to put the levels next to each other on a flat surface. If you rotate one 180 degrees, it's going to read differently. So make sure you take a look at them first. Then when you put them in the firearm, you put one on top of the scope, go in the same direction. If you turn 180 degrees, you're going to have a candid scope.
That's a good tip. Yeah, actually, I never thought of it.
Yeah.
We did post an image last night on our Instagram, and I saw someone made a comment on it talking about we had the level on the cap. And
right.
I think that's important too.
That's
probably on us. You should take the cap off to level
right.
the scope, right? The truest level you're going to find is actually on that base adjustment
right.
underneath the cap.
Yep.
And also, so the step up from this kind of basic wheeler kit is also another one that we've used. I know Michael, who's our Leupold Optics Academy instructor, swears by it. It's the Wheeler Professional, I think, and it has the barrel level
right.
on there too. So you're actually leveling the scope to the barrel, and which comes into play at those extreme long distance, or even long distance. We'll say 1,000 yards. Guys want to shoot 1,000 yards. They want to shoot 1,500. They want to shoot 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the new thing, right?
Got to make sure your stuff's level.
Yeah, if it's not level, it's compounding, right? So if it's off a little bit here at 2,000 yards, it's going to be off way more than that. Right. So. Any other common mounting issues that you guys run into?
Lapping.
Oh, okay.
So lapping, we generally say no. And the reason for that is tolerances nowadays on machining of our rings. What'll end up happening is too much material is removed on the inside diameter of the ring. So this will result in more often than not point impact shift. Scope's not holding a zero. We see it a lot. If we have guys sending rings with a scope, they've been lapped, which it just doesn't allow it to hold the scope.
Yeah. A couple more questions rolling in. Thanks, guys, for your questions, by the way. Tom on Facebook talking about torque values. So we did touch on the torque values for the ring top, the 28, the 25, or you said for the receiver, right?
22 going on the receiver.
22. He's the tech service guy. I'm obviously not. But then, so a lot of our scopes have the nuts on the side, right? So those are going to be 65-inch pounds.
Yep, 65-inch pounds on the half-inch nuts.
Yeah.
And guys, torque specs are going to vary from model to model.
Yeah.
PRW is generally 22-inch pounds all around. That's on the keepers and the ring tops. All bases are 22-inch pounds. For the most part, other than PRW and PRW2s, your torque specs are going to be 28-inch pounds on the ring tops. Yeah. So if you ever doubt it, or have a question, give us a call. We can answer it for you.
Yeah. These guys are the experts. Ask for Dane. He wants to talk to you specifically. So.
Right.
There was another good one here. Oh yeah, does Leupold make anti-cant levels? While we don't make any external leveling system, right. I will touch on the VX6 HD. Does have an internal cant adjustment system. So the reticle is actually, when you're setting it up, it's going to blink at you when it's not level, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll essentially, if it's outside of, it's plus or minus 1 degree of level.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 degrees, 3 degrees, so on, outside of level, that reticle is going to flash at you. And then once you're within that 1 degree, it's going to stay solid. So if you have a VX6 and you don't have the full set of levels, you can use that as well.
Awesome. And then Conrad on Facebook. Can you use a large diameter scope with the backcountry one-piece mounts? And I don't know exactly what you mean by large diameter, but we have. What size do those come in?
So they go up to a 30 millimeter.
Okay,
so you got a 1 inch and 30 millimeter.
So those go up to a 30 millimeter, 50 millimeter objective, just fine. If you are going to go bigger, the 34, the 35, I would suggest going to the cross slot. Backcountry mounting system then, and then you're gonna be good to go. Awesome. Let's see. We touched on all those. Let's see. Like we said, mounting is super important. And don't be intimidated by it. I think if you just take it step by step and you take it slowly, that you're going to be able to, you're going to surprise yourself, and you can actually, it's a great skill to have because stuff can go wrong in the field, and you might have to take a scope off, right? You might have to put different mounts or some, troubleshoot in the field. So being able to have those skills I think is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing we didn't touch on about errors people make when mounting. A big one we find is when guys have gun shops mount scopes for them. Unless you're present, they cannot set that scope up for you, for your natural head position, for your eye box. So if you're having that done by someone else, stay present. That way, you can shoulder the rifle, you can get it to a natural position for you. But like Nick said, it's very simple. It's pretty cut and dry. Follow directions. If you have the right tools, it's a walk in the park.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up about everyone being different, right? All our bodies are different. We're all set up a little different. Someone might, their cheek well's different, their arm length's different. And while they can set up a scope and kind of get it in the ballpark, you might have to make adjustments on the setup and on the scope to get it where it needs to be. But like Dane said, if you're there when it's being mounted, that is the best case scenario, right? Another thing that Scott there just reminded us of is our Mount Finder app. So I think that's another thing that guys run into. It's overwhelming, right?
Yeah,
there are a lot of mount choices.
Lots of options.
I mean, I know when I look through the price list that we have and I see all the mounts on there, even I get a little overwhelmed. So the Mount Finder app's on our website. You can go there. You just type in, you just choose what rifle you're going to be mounting up, and then you just answer some simple questions from there on out, and it's going to give you the mounting solution that's going to work best for you. Yep. It takes into account what scope you're going to put on there, because you're going to need different height rings, depending on if you have a 50 millimeter objective or a 56 millimeter objective, something like that. But it's a great resource. I know guys even internally in the building probably use it.
They use it, yep, absolutely.
You guys in tech service are probably using that. So again, that's a great resource. These guys in tech service are always there to help you out. And let's see, we got any more questions rolling in here? Let's see. Ooh, torque pattern. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. You want to touch on that one?
Yeah, so basically the way I explain it is like putting a wheel on a car. You want to do a star pattern, you don't want to tighten one side down first, then go to the other side. Do a little here, go to the other side, diagonally, a little bit, go back to the other side, a little bit, just a little at a time. You don't want to tighten one screw down to the torque spec right away, and then go to the other side, just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, that's a great question, Tom. Tom from Facebook had that one, and to expand on that a little bit, star pattern, or X pattern, like you were talking about. Also gaps on the side of the rings, right?
Right, yep.
So you'll see sometimes the ring is it's gonna sit up a little bit. It's not gonna be flush against the bottom part of the ring. It's important that those gaps on each side of the ring are equal. I've seen scopes mounted where, the ring's like that, right?
One side's touching,
the other side's got a big old gap on it. So just something to be cognizant of when you're mounting up the scope. If you're using the proper star or X pattern like that, you probably won't run into that issue. Just a little bit here, a little bit here. But yeah, mind the gap, right?
And if you're having trouble keeping your scope level, doing a little at a time will help. If you try to do too much on one side, it tends to kind of twist that scope a little bit.
Nice. And it's great. Someone brought up warranties, right? So the great thing, Leupold mounts, lifetime warranty on everything. You don't have to worry about it. So we got you taken care of. Like I said, we do incredible amounts of testing though before these things go out. I don't think you're probably ever going to have to use the warranty,
right?
But it's there,
Yeah, the most common stuff we see guys warranting rings is over torquing them.
Yeah,
they'll over torque something, break it. Give us a call. More than likely, if it's a small part, we can send it out to you. If you lose a ring, call us. We can send them out to you. And by ring, I mean screws for the ring. Not if you lose a ring, we're not going to send you a new ring.
Screws for the ring.
Screws for the rings.
Kyle, hey Kyle, I see your question here. So Dane, tell me what is the best mount for a bayonet?
Kyle.
He totally got us on that one. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah. Braden, let's see. What option do you prefer for mounts? Okay. So, what do you prefer, rail or traditional bases for mounts? So, we got a couple here.
Yep.
The backcountry one piece would fall under a traditional. That'd also be your dual dovetail, your standard or STD, your QR. You take a stab at this one. I got my opinion.
I go for the rail.
Yeah, you're a
Every
rail
day.
guy.
Yep, I'm a rail guy.
Why are you a rail guy?
Just ruggedness.
Yeah. Just me. I'm a rail guy too. So it's just consistency, right? The rail goes on there. I know everything's aligned. The rail's one piece.
Yep.
I can take stuff off and on super easy. Yeah.
It also gives you more adjustability, right?
Yeah.
So you can put these rings anywhere on that rail. Whereas a downfall, especially if you have a shorter neck or a shorter length of pole, and you need to bring that scope further back with traditional mounts, you might only be able to move that scope so far without having to go with reversible front and rear bases or extension rings.
Yeah, and I find too, personal, like if I have a scope on an AR platform and I want to put it on a bolt gun, well,
easy.
It just goes over easy.
Everything's the same.
Right, everything the same. Yeah, I try to keep all my personal rifles all have rails on them.
Yep.
Because now I know everything is compatible.
Right.
Yeah, thereabouts. So, of course. So, Brandon on Facebook, good question. If we don't own one of these bad boys here, should we take it to a gunsmith? Yeah, I mean, these aren't that expensive. You can find them for really cheap. Again, I think it's a good investment to have.
Yep.
You can take it to a gunsmith, absolutely. He's going to charge you for it, though. Just always use a torque wrench. That's all.
And that comes back to the point of, if someone else is doing it for you, they may not be able to set it up perfectly for your natural position. So torque wrench, they're about $30. You can get them at most retailers.
Yeah.
Great investment.
Yeah. By the way, guys, super good questions. And the best question out of them, I just want to remind you guys, we got a hat to give away. We got a shirt to give away. So this is one of the new designs too. American Crafts and Leupold. That's a rad shirt. So we're going to be choosing the best question there for sure. So, actually, I don't know. Did you have anything else to add on mounts or anything we missed?
I think we covered a lot of it. Again, I just want to reiterate, if you guys have any questions or doubts or concerns, give us a call. We're here to answer questions. That's my job. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't feel bad calling in. Don't, my ego gets in the way sometimes too. So I want to think that I know how to do everything, but sometimes you gotta call and ask.
Number is easy to remember.
That. Yeah,
1-800-Leupold.
1-800-Leupold, right? We're there. Here's a good one from Tom. Tips for proper eye relief. Yeah. So again, that goes into mounting it, specific for you. So you're the pro here. What do you think?
So what I recommend is when you're setting a scope up for eye relief, turn the magnification all the way up. Then what you're going to want to do is essentially get it to where that scope is at the front of your eye box on maximum magnification. Generally on most scopes, as you decrease magnification, your eye box or your eye relief increases. So what that allows is at maximum magnification, you have a full field of view. And then with the same head position, when you turn that magnification down, you're still in that eye box. So set it up on maximum magnification with your head at the front of the eye box, as far as you can go, and maintain a full field of view.
Yeah. Another great tip, again, I'm going to refer back to Michael, our Leupold Optics Academy trainer. I've probably watched him mount over 100 scopes, and I learn something new every time. The guy's a wizard when he's mounting scopes. But one little trick he taught me was when you get on the rifle, don't open your eye. Don't try to adjust for the eye relief of the scope. Actually get on the rifle, close your eyes, get on where you're comfortable, and then open your eyes and see where the scope is. Because your eyes are going to try to adjust automatically for that eye relief difference, and you might actually just be straining your eye, trying to get that right distance. So again, close your eye, get on the rifle, open your eyes, see where the scope is. If it's not in the right place right off the bat, put the rifle back down, adjust the scope, repeat, do the same with your eyes closed. And you're going to get one that makes sure that you're in that perfect place on that rifle. That's the most comfortable spot for you. Your eyes are closed, you're not paying attention to all the other stuff going on, and then you're going to get that proper eye relief for the scope. Right? That was a great tip. Yeah. Let's see. So Tom, thank you for that one. That was great. Do you recommend bedding bases? Steven on Facebook.
No.
Yeah.
So generally, bases used to be bedded for reliability issues, so they didn't go anywhere, right? Nowadays, this comes back to the torque specs. As long as everything's torqued down properly, bedding is a no-go.
Yeah. Did you used to have to bed? Maybe in the old days? I think that kind of goes along with the lapping and the
lapping, like that, tolerances, machining processes.
I think it's just stuff that guys used to do that it's just kind of carried over. But again, the advances in machining and technology and how these are produced just have made those processes a little antiquated.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Justin on Facebook, he just bought a Mark V. Congratulations,
good job,
Justin.
Nice pick.
That's my favorite scope.
Awesome.
I love that scope. Do you guys have any 35 millimeter rings for them? So we did touch on that. Yep, we got you covered with some IMS back mounts, QRW, PRW,
Mark IVs.
Yeah, Mark IV. Yeah, Mark IVs, of course. We're talking about, we got all new stuff up here, but don't forget about the Mark IVs. That's a great line of rings too. So yeah, we have a lot of 35 millimeter mounting solutions now.
Yep.
For those scopes, because I assume that you'll see more and more scopes coming out with a 35 millimeter main tube, right, for those long range guys who really want to reach out and touch someone. So okay, well I'm impressed by all the questions, guys. Great questions.
Good questions. Very good questions.
Let's see what we're gonna pick a winner here. Let's see. How about does Leupold? Let's see. We got to pick a good one here.
I like the bayonet question.
No, Kyle does not qualify to win. No, I qualified for Kyle. Yeah. So, what option do you prefer for mounts, the rail or traditional? I think that's a great question because guys go back and forth. Which one's better? Which one's not? Yep. I think that's a great question. So, Braden, we got a hat, we got a shirt coming your way. Congratulations. So again, oh yeah, send us a Facebook. Yeah, Scotty says send us a Facebook message and we'll get all your information and get that out to you. So again, we got our mounting app on the website. Go check that out. If you got any questions, call Dane over at Tech Service. Also, guys, go on the website, sign up for our newsletter, become a Core Insider. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of cool stuff happening on the website. And that'll make sure that you are aware of any new product coming out, new videos, we got recipes on there, which is really cool stuff like that. So join up, and till next time, we'll see you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.